They said a delivery girl could never change a billionaire's destiny, but for $800,000, she was forced to be his cure, and one night changed both their fates forever. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more heart-shocking emotional stories that will make you believe in miracles again. Amara Khan never thought a single delivery could destroy and rebuild her life in the same breath, but destiny often writes its most unbelievable stories in silence. On a stormy night in New York City, drenched and trembling, she stood at the gates of the towering Blackstone Tower, holding a small box of herbal medicine meant for someone named Mr. Damien Black, the youngest and most mysterious billionaire in the city, a man known for his ruthlessness, his cold heart, and the unexplainable illness that no doctor could cure, a disease that made him allergic to human touch, his body rejecting every medical attempt, leaving him haunted by pain and sleeplessness. Amara was just a struggling delivery girl, orphaned young, living in a crumbling apartment, juggling 2 jobs to support her younger brother's surgery. She had no idea that this single delivery would open the gates of both heaven and hell for her. When the security guards hesitated to let her in, Damien's secretary saw her face through the glass and froze. It was as if he had seen a ghost, and within minutes she was escorted upstairs to Damien's private floor, where the air was thick with the scent of antiseptics and despair. Damien lay on a hospital bed in his penthouse, pale, distant, eyes like winter, his voice low but sharp as he said, "You brought the medicine, but maybe you're the medicine." Before Amara could understand, the doctor explained, Damien's condition was psychological as much as physical. His body rejected everyone's energy except for a rare biological match, someone whose presence calmed his immune storm. Tests had found 0 matches worldwide, but when Amara entered, his heart monitor steadied for the first time in years. That moment changed everything. Damien's grandfather, a cold and powerful man, offered her $800,000 to stay in the mansion for 1 month, pretending to be Damien's cure, so he could survive long enough to close a multi-billion-dollar merger that would save the company and the jobs of thousands. Amara, desperate for her brother's surgery, agreed, but what she didn't know was that this deal was far darker than it sounded. Every night, Damien's pain returned, and only her presence, her touch, even her scent brought him peace. The mansion was a labyrinth of secrets, locked doors, whispering maids, and portraits of a woman who looked disturbingly like Amara. Damien was cold, sarcastic, and emotionally broken, his eyes hiding storms of grief. Yet, behind that cruelty, she saw a loneliness deeper than the ocean. He often murmured in his sleep a woman's name, Leela, and one night she found a dusty diary in his library that revealed the truth. Leela was his late fiancé, who had died saving him in a car crash, and Amara's resemblance to her was uncanny. But fate's games weren't over. One stormy night, when Damien's condition worsened beyond control, the doctors left him for dead. Amara, terrified and trembling, sat beside him and whispered prayers, clutching his hand as he convulsed in pain. Something miraculous happened. His breathing calmed, his heartbeat returned, and for the first time he opened his eyes, staring at her like she was light itself. That night, emotions overpowered reason. Their eyes met through tears, one thing led to another, and their hearts collided in a moment that felt fated by the universe. They made love, passionately, desperately, as if their souls had been waiting lifetimes to meet again. But the next morning, Damien was gone. His grandfather told her coldly that the deal was over, that the money would be transferred, and that she must leave immediately and never speak of what happened. Broken and betrayed, Amara took the money and vanished into the night, only to realize weeks later that she was pregnant with triplets. Fear consumed her. She knew Damien's family would destroy her if they found out. So she changed her name, moved to a small coastal town, and began living quietly, her belly growing with life, her heart aching with memories she could neither forget nor hate. 3 years later, Damien stood at a charity event, alive, healthy, and powerful again, but his eyes were hollow. He had searched the world for the girl who had saved him, unaware she had carried his legacy in her womb. Fate reunited them when his company decided to build a resort in the same town where Amara now worked as a cafe owner. He entered her cafe one rainy afternoon, ordering coffee, his eyes catching hers, and time froze. The cup fell from her hand, and his breath caught. Those eyes, that presence, it was her, the cure, the ghost, the woman he had dreamed of for years. But before he could speak, 3 little children ran out from the kitchen, 2 boys and a girl, calling, "Mama!" Damien turned pale, realizing the impossible truth. The twins had his eyes, the little girl had Leela's smile. Rage, heartbreak, and disbelief clashed inside him. "Why didn't you tell me?" he demanded, his voice trembling. Amara's tears spilled as she whispered, "Because you were never supposed to love your cure." But behind her words hid a deeper secret. His grandfather had known about her pregnancy all along and had forced her disappearance to protect the company's image. Damien was shattered. He confronted his grandfather, who admitted everything, the test results, the manipulation, even the fact that Leela's death had been no accident, but a cover-up for a family scandal that cost Damien his peace. Enraged and heartbroken, Damien renounced his inheritance. He returned to Amara's small home and found her packing, ready to run again. "If you leave now," he said, voice breaking, "I'll die again, and this time no cure will save me." She dropped her suitcase, tears streaming, and in that moment, their children ran to him, touching his hand, and for the first time, Damien felt warmth spreading through his body. No pain, no sickness, just life. The doctors later called it a medical miracle. He called it love. But fate had one more twist to offer. When Damien's grandfather fell gravely ill, he sent Amara a letter confessing the final secret. Amara wasn't just Leela's look-alike, she was her twin sister, separated at birth during a secret adoption cover-up. Damien's illness had responded to her because his soul recognized the same energy, the same love that once saved him. Amara was both his destiny and his redemption. In the end, Damien proposed to her in the same mansion where their story had begun, kneeling in front of her and their 3 children, saying, "You weren't my cure, Amara, you were my beginning." Tears, laughter, and forgiveness filled the air. On their wedding day, rain poured again, just like that first night, but this time it washed away pain, not hope. Damien built a foundation in her name for single mothers and orphaned children, turning his empire into a legacy of love. As they watched the sunset from their mansion's balcony, Amara whispered, "Do you still feel the pain?" Damien smiled, wrapping his arms around her, "Only when you're too far away." The triplets giggled, running across the marble floor as the sky turned gold. In that light, the ghosts of the past seemed to fade, leaving only warmth, faith, and the promise that miracles were real. And somewhere deep inside, Amara realized something profound. The greatest cures in this world aren't made in laboratories or found in money, but in hearts brave enough to love, forgive, and believe again.